Art Association. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the Westfield Art Association first and the Artist in Residence program, and then we'll talk, and then it'll be the interview with Shen. So it's Shen's night. Right now, I also want to welcome people who are live streaming this on YouTube or people who are watching this in the future on YouTube. These are recorded. They have fantastic cameras that are recording everything. So tonight we're going to do an interview with Shen, and then we'll open it up for questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask Shen during the event. So the Westfield Art Association is actually the oldest art association in the state of New Jersey. It was founded in 1922. We right now have 195 people on our email list. They're not all from Westfield. They're from all over the state of New Jersey. We even have some that live outside of New Jersey. The Art Association is basically a nonprofit organization with all volunteer people, and our job is to promote art from artists to the public. It's an educational institution. So this Artist in Residence program is a perfect way for the public to meet an artist and learn about it. The Westfield Art Association is very welcoming. So basically we welcome anyone who produces art and even people who don't produce art. We have members who say they're not artists, they just appreciate art and they want to contribute to that. But we welcome any kind of medium. They could be sculptors, they could be jewelry makers, any kind of artist. Everybody's welcome. So that's our creed, and we've been doing that for years. The Artist in Residence program started actually in 2023. I was meeting with Alan McGinley, who's the director of the library, and we were trying to figure out ways to promote artists and to have the public interact with artists. So Alan said to me, he said, I'm kind of scared of artists. Like, they seem like they're highbrow people, and I don't understand it. And I said, artists are just regular people. Like, you should meet them. And so we were trying to figure it out. And the Artist in Residence program, for those of you who are not artists, these happen all over the world. And organizations have an artist in residence. Sometimes they live there, or sometimes they just do their work there, like Shen is doing. And basically the idea is that institution puts an artist out there and the public can meet them. So in 2023, we started this program. We had 2 artists in residence in 2024, another 2 in 2025, and this year we have 4 artists in residence. This year, the application process was so competitive. We had 9 artists apply for the position. We were originally going to have 2. Any of the 9 could have done it and would have been excellent, but we decided on 4. And thanks to also Liz Kennedy, who's in the back, she's running everything. She's the assistant director of the library, and she's running the show tonight. But she's the one who takes care of everything that the artist needs help with during the residency. So what happens with an artist who's in residence? Basically, they have to be here twice a week, and Shen's here, Monday and Thursday? Monday and Thursdays. And we want the artist to be up front and center. So if you walked in, if you saw a table, like a 6-foot table with a black cover, that's right as you walk in, front and center, that's where Shen sits when she does her art. So really, when people walk in, they see the artist right away. And the whole idea is for the artist to produce their art and for the public to come over and say, what are you doing? How do you do it? What are your thoughts? And even like if they want to help out or they want to try some art, that's the whole idea behind it. And so that's really the Artist in Residence program. Like I said, Shen is going to be here from June 1st to July 31st, right? I got that right? Okay. And then tonight we're going to do the Meet the Artist. So I'm just going to open it up and just say, well, welcome and congratulations on being the Artist in Residence. So
thank you.
Tell us all a little bit about yourself.
I'm 21 years old. I'm from Plainfield, and I don't really know what else to say other than that I'm an artist and I like to paint. I grew up here, in Westfield, not Plainfield. And I don't know, I like nature a lot, as I'm sure you can tell.
Now, when do you remember, if you think back, when did you start doing art? Did you do it from when you were a little kid, or?
Okay, I feel like I always knew I was like pretty good at it and like had a little bit of a talent for it, but I didn't really start like seriously until I was like 15 in COVID and lockdown, because I had like nothing else to do at a certain point and I couldn't like rewatch the same shows I'd watching a million times. So yeah, I was just forced into it through boredom, and I ended up really loving it. And yeah.
And so what did you do? So you're stuck in your room like most of us during
Yeah.
COVID. What kind of art were you drawing? Were you painting?
I feel I was mostly painting, because drawing for me, like, I like it sometimes and I can appreciate it, but it's just so tedious to get the types of things I want to do with drawing. It would take too long, and I'm an impatient person. So yeah, I just had whatever paint I had lying around my house, and that's how it started. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what types of medium? So for those of you who are not artists, medium means like, what do you use to make your art? So there's oil paint, there's watercolor. So what are your favorite mediums?
So, well, I originally started off with acrylic. It was just like the crappy like acrylic paint that like they get for kids. And all I had in my house.
The Michaels.
Yes, yeah. And yeah, for a while, like just because that's what I started with, that's what I like felt comfortable with, and I knew how to use it. I felt like I had a handle on it. That's kind of the only reason why I like was drawn to that specifically. It just happened to be what I had. But recently I've moved a lot more to oil, and I feel like I like that a lot better. For right now, at least for the style I'm doing, I like that a lot better, because I feel like blending is much easier, and it gives like, especially right now, I'm in more of a like ethereal, dreamy type of vibe for my art, so it needs to have like that soft look. And acrylic, like a lot of these are acrylic. You can see like even this, it's like there's more texture and more brush strokes, and it doesn't need the blending and like softness that I need now for what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, so I'm really interested. How did you make that transition from acrylic to oil? Did you take classes? Did you watch YouTube? Did you read? Or did you just dive in?
I can't. I'm the worst at like being in a class and like following instructions. So I kind of I'll see someone do something online. I'll be like, oh, that's cool, and I get oil paints, and I just tried it. I don't like being taught how to do things the right way. Like I like to just do what
Good for you.
I like to figure it out for myself. Yeah.
That's great. So if you like, I actually we talked about this, or I wrote to you. I don't like putting labels on art, but if you had to describe, so for example, there's different kinds of art. Like you might all have heard of like abstract, which means it doesn't really look like anything real. Like you may make it look like something, but abstract is one way. Another way is representational, which means what you paint looks like a hummingbird. You know, like, so it's not like a big X and somebody sees a hummingbird. It actually looks like a hummingbird. Mm-hmm. So like, would you call yourself representational, or would you not want to label yourself? Which is fine.
I don't necessarily like to label myself in like the sense of like abstract artist, realism artist, whatever, because I just feel like it changes so much. Like my style has shifted so much over like time, over what phase of my life I'm in. Like even the things I first started out with, none of these are like early paintings, but like none of what I'm working on now is at all the same style as any of the stuff I'm here really. So I don't like to label it too much, but I think a big theme in a lot of my art is just, it's very spiritual. It's like nature-y, and it's also, right now at least I'm leaning much more like kind of like magical and like deep contrast and like kind of glowy lights and stuff. So I don't know what like genre that would be of.
No, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. And you just said a bunch of things I want to ask you about.
Yeah.
Like, because I know you love animals, right?
Yeah.
So like you're comfortable talking about Mexico?
Oh yeah.
So like Shen loves animals. So like explain how much you love animals.
Oh, I went to Mexico like a few years ago to do, like, it was like a volunteer work for like shelter animals and like dogs and cats and stuff. It was awesome. It was really cool. A lot of the dogs, like it's kind of, I didn't know what I was gonna expect. I didn't know if like, it's like dogs that were like starving or abused that like were taken in. So I didn't know if they would be like a little mean, which would have been okay because I would understand in the circumstances. But it was so nice because they were so cute and sweet and happy.
Now, to talk about spiritual, do you feel a connection with, because I mean, I love dogs, and I've always felt like a connection for some reason.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's like a human to dog kind
Yeah.
of thing, but do you feel that?
Yeah, I definitely do. I feel like the thing I like about animals is like there's no like language. So it's literally just vibes. So it's just, you have to, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the time talking to other people, that's awesome too, love it, but things can get so confusing, like communicating and like connecting with people, because I think like having language kind of messes us all up, because that's the way we know how to communicate. And I think with animals, I think it just makes more sense to me. It's like literally just the energy and the vibes, and they can sense that.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense with your art, because you're communicating in a visual way, not with words, but in a visual way.
Words
So
is like my least favorite way of communicating. Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
We all have trouble with
Yeah.
words, especially on text. Like,
yeah.
that's
Oh, the worst. I never answer my texts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remind me not to text you. So let's take either this painting or that painting, just because they're here and they're real. Like, how do you come up with an idea? Like, do you look at something? Do you just go in and paint? How does it work?
I think, okay, sometimes, like, for my, like, if I'm doing, like, an animal or a tree, like, sometimes I just see something beautiful, and I'm like, I could paint that. I think that would be cool. Like, let me try it out. But the way I really like to paint is I don't like to think at all or have any ideas. Maybe sometimes I'll have a general concept or feeling going into it, but I kind of like to just start immediately, because otherwise I think too much, and I don't do it right, and I get too in my head, and I get frustrated. So I like to just kind of like put paint on a canvas and move it around until I see something in it, and then go into that more and create something from like random shapes and colors.
That's great. Okay. So when you applied for the Artist in Residence program, like what attracted you? What made you want to be here and like show your art to people and talk to people?
I think, honestly, when it comes to like being an artist, for me at least, it's so confusing and it's kind of stressful, and I never really know what I'm doing, because I think for like other people, it's like they go to school, they get a degree for this, and then they go in a job for this. But for art, it's like there's so many different things you can do, and I get so overwhelmed by the options, and I don't really know where to start. And I think this was just like a good way for me to like, I don't know, I guess connect with the community more and have people see my art and talk to people, and like that, just kind of a new direction, like an actual like action to take to move me forward. Because otherwise, I'm just like, I like to paint, but I don't know what else to do with it a lot of the time.
Yeah, and so you've been here twice a week, right? And how have your interactions been with people? They've
been really nice. There's a lot of kids, like on Thursdays especially, and they're like they always talk about like, I want to be an artist too, and it's really cute. And obviously, like, I'm encouraging it, because I think like people should do what they're passionate about, and I like that better than like, no, you should go to college and do this. And then, if that's what they want to do, though, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But the kids seem to love it. There's been some like other artists that have come talk to me and like ask me questions about like what I'm doing here and what I'm doing with my art, which like I don't know how to answer it, because I don't know, and I am.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm young.
No, yes, you're young, but even as you get older as an artist, there's a lot of times you don't know what you're doing. You don't know why you're doing something. You don't know what you're gonna do with your pieces.
It's kind of better though, I think, like, because it's more exciting to not know. Well, at least in my opinion. It's also more stressful, but I'll take it.
So are you doing actual art when people, like, at the table?
Yeah.
Are you doing acrylic or?
I'm doing oil.
Oh, you're doing oil?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
I definitely do it wrong though. I think like I don't have like all the materials I need, but like I'm scrappy. Like I'll
I don't know if there is a wrong way.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are like traditional academic and
I'm
say
not.
there's a right and wrong.
I'm not.
Don't worry about it. Just do what you do. So I was going to ask you about so part of the Artist in Residence program, you're going to be doing workshops. And so just as one of the requirements is that any artist in residence has to teach 2 workshops. And generally how they've gone is one workshop is for adults and one workshop is for kids. And the library sets it all up. It's totally free for those who attend. The library will publicize it, they'll do the invitation, and then they have a list of people that sign up. And then if people say, I can't make it, there's a waiting list and all that. So it's really good that the library has all these facilities to allow people. But can you tell, if you have set ideas on your workshops, can you tell everybody a little bit about your workshops? I know the dates are up here, but.
Okay, I feel like I'm really bad at explaining like things. well, which is a problem if I have to lead a workshop. But for the kids one, that workshop, it was like what I was talking about before of like just putting paint on a canvas and letting your brain kind of like see something in it and going further into that idea. So I think for kids, like I thought that would be good for kids because I think kids are really good at that, like just being super creative and just seeing random stuff.
And they're not afraid to. This is some of my experience between teaching kids and adults. Adults are so afraid to make a mistake, and they're like, "Oh, is this wrong?" And you're like, "There's no wrong.
Yeah.
Like, just do what you want to do." And kids will just do it. They don't
I was almost gonna have like this idea, like that technique that I use be for adults, because I was kind of thinking that way, like they're too scared, like they gotta be pushed into it. But yeah, no, I thought let's leave it for the kids. I think that they'll do good with that. And for the adult workshop, this is another technique I use a lot where I will pick, this is actually how I first started painting because I had only random colors of paint in my house. I didn't have I had 3 colors. So they were all different values. I had a dark color, a medium dark color, and a lighter one. So I used only 3 colors for all my paintings. And it was random colors. It didn't make sense technically in the sense of realistic colors you would see in something. But yeah, that was the idea I had because I actually really love doing that still. It's if I'm painting something realistic, I like to still make it different and special.
Yeah.
So yeah, that workshop that's the concept for it too. It's you choose a few colors randomly, all of different values, and it focuses more on values and dark and versus light and contrast rather than actual colors and realism. And yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. And in some traditional classes where you're learning how to paint, one of the early lessons is to just paint in one color.
Yeah.
And so values just means, like Shen said, it's dark and light. Is it dark or is it light or is it dark? That. And so that's a great way. And also it looks really cool when you're done.
The bear one, obviously bears aren't purple and pink and yellow, but that's the purple is the darkest value and the whitish yellow is the lightest. And all the in between, it's just random colors and it makes it more fun in my opinion.
And it works so well. We all look at it as humans, right? And the darks are dark and the lights are light, and that's where the light is hitting the bear. And even though it's not a real color of a bear, it works and it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
If you want to see, by the way, Shen's art is all in the hallway. If you didn't see it on the way in, it's all hanging up on the wall there. All of Shen's artwork is for sale. It's always, all the artists in residence get that hallway, and they can sell work, and they get most of, usually when a gallery puts your work up and sells it, they take 50% commission, right? I mean, that's just normal. Here, the library takes 5%, which is shockingly low. But it's just great to have, not only to have the ability to sell work, but to introduce people to your work.
Yeah.
So you'll get fans or you'll get collectors or whatever, people that want to follow you, that'll see your work. But that was a long explanation. That bear piece is out there, and it's awesome when you see it in person. I mean, it looks good on the screen, but it's also really cool in person. But I mean, go ahead with I interrupted you on your workshop idea.
Well, I think that's kind of the main thing. It's just the values and random colors. I think I always like when people choose colors that shouldn't be there, because I just get bored with if everything looks exactly how you see it. To me, it just it's not the same. It's having your own your colors that you love in the painting.
Yeah. And it's funny, there are people online, if you go on Pinterest or Instagram, you see artists who can produce photorealism, meaning they'll paint something and it looks like a photo. You say, that's perfect, it looks like a photo. But it's boring, and a lot of people say I'm not discrediting those people because it's not easy to do. But it is you look at it, you say, oh, that's cool, and you just move on.
Yeah.
You don't. It's not something that really hits you.
Yeah, it's definitely very impressive. For me personally, I think I like more things that make you feel a certain way, and to me colors do have a feeling to it. So I like to always have that in my stuff, an interesting color. I think that communicates a lot.
Yeah. Now, that's a good point. Now, when you do work, do you ever do like a series of like purple paint, or like, you remember Picasso was like the blue period or whatever? Do you ever do that? Or?
Recently I have a lot more, actually. Like I have, I've kind of been in like a blue period myself.
Now, is that impacted by your emotion, or is it just a choice, or?
It's just, I feel like what I've been doing is like I'm kind of trying to make things like look a little bit more magical and like ethereal. So I really like blues and whites, and I'll always like add some other colors. Like I always have to add like every color into a painting. Like I can't help myself. But I think it's not like a blue sad vibe. It's more like a light in the dark type of thing. And I think like I don't like using black, so it's like blues and like purple.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Darker colors.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I have a real good friend who's a painter. He's just turned 80, but he never uses black. He's never used black. He's painted for 60 years. He's never used black.
Yes, I used to use black more, but like I've leaned away from it a lot because I think you can get the same level of like depth and like darkness, but also like if you mix colors, it just looks more interesting to me at least.
Yeah, and to go back to your point on a value, like you can get a really dark value without using black.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like in the piece behind over there, like there are some really darks in there, but they're purpley or blue, and they almost make you feel like, whoa, that's like something really diving away.
I've also noticed that like even like when you like see with your eyes, most of the time you're not even seeing black. Like if you take a picture of something and you use a color dropper, it'll be like a dark blue or like a purpley gray even. Like it wouldn't. Black is. I feel like you don't really see that. It's kind of almost an illusion. Like.
Oh, that's great. So what are you working on now? Do you have anything like specific? What kind of?
Right now, I'm working on a children's book, which is very different than what I've done in the past. And even like the art style is a lot different than what I'm used to doing. So it's definitely something like new and fun, but it goes a lot along with like the spiritual themes of a lot of my art. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Now, are there words in it too, or is it just?
There's words.
Are you writing it too?
I'm not writing. I didn't write it. My friend Liv Mazzola, who is not here right now, but she, we grew up together, like went to school together and everything, and I work with her aunt too, like Christine, Cherry Home Designs. Yeah. So I told Christine, like I was showing her some stuff. I was like, I kind of want to do a children's book. I don't know, and that's what Liv happens to be in school for. So we just kind of like came back together.
She's in school as a writer?
Yeah.
Oh,
so we just kind of came back together, and like she's helping me on the project, and it's really cute too, because like we were kids together. Now we're making a children's book, so it's pretty awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Do you want to spill anything about what it's about?
I can like give a general idea of what it is, but I'm also terrible at explaining things. Basically, it's like these little stars, and they're all just like part of the universe, happy together, all one together, like just connected with everything. And then they go through a portal, and it's mainly one star. Like that's like who the book is about.
The star of the book is a star.
And
that's awesome.
And it's basically just this girl. She walks through the portal. She becomes human, and she's like, oh my god, like this is so weird. I'm a person now. I kind of miss just being a star and being part of everything. And she feels maybe like a little bit alone, and she's struggling with her human existence. And basically, it's about her journey of like finding peace in that, finding like the beauty and like being part of Earth, and how she's still part of everything. It's just a different form, which it's about me, if you can tell.
That's great. Now, how did you learn? Like, I mean, I'm fascinated by like, how did you learn or did you like how are you coming up with illustrate? Like, do you pick one sentence, or do you pick like how do you? I don't know.
So I honestly kind of like, because I had the idea for a children's book, but it was like I was telling Christine like, oh maybe I would do this, I don't know. And then one day she was just like, the group FaceTime call, and it's like we're doing it, and I kind of just got thrown into it. And I had a general concept. Me and Liv kind of worked out the details of the story, and basically I had a few paintings that like before I even like knew they were going to that I just would put next to each other, and I was like, oh, it kind of tells a story. Like, this is kind of cool. They all seem like they go together really well. And so I had those as like place marks. Like I had the, like, this is the part of the story, this is the beginning, and this is the part of the story where she's like kind of sad, and then this is where she's like at the end where she's like, yay, everything's cool. And so I kind of just used that, and I like filled in like little, her like walking through the world, her doing her little thing. I honestly like didn't really know what I was doing as I was doing it, but it worked out.
Now, how are you gonna produce it? Like, how is it gonna? Are you gonna self-publish?
Um,
I know there's so many ways now.
We're
or have you
still
thought
trying to
about it?
figure it out. Hopefully, like I'm hoping that like I have some connections, so hopefully I'm hoping that works out.
Oh, that's
with
great.
some publishing companies.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But if not, I'm still gonna do it self-publish.
Yeah, I have a neighbor who wrote a children's book, and she hired somebody to illustrate it.
Yeah.
And then she, like, did it online, like had it produced and
Yeah.
printed, and like she gave
Yeah.
us a copy. And
Mhm.
so I guess it's a way to do it. But if you have connections, that's even better.
Yeah, I'm hoping it works. If not, I'll do it regardless. Like we're still gonna figure it out.
Well, good luck.
Yeah.
It's like, and also like I have 3 kids, and our kids when they were little, all we did was read to them and show them
Yeah.
books. And we've had books. There are many children's books that have no words. That's why I asked that before. And for kids, who cares? Like it's a whole story. In fact, I have a book. It's called The Silver Pony. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's like 80 pages long, and there's not one word in the entire thing. And it's a beautiful story, really well illustrated, all black and white.
Oh, cool.
Which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
But so my point is, like, you can tell a lot.
Yeah.
And I just love
Yeah,
illustrators.
I kind of like the idea of like the illustrations or like the art speaking for itself more than the words do. Like I kind of wanted to keep it like minimal words, so you can kind of, because the way I kind of had the idea, like I didn't have words in my head. I was just looking at the paintings next to each other, and I was like, I see a story with this, and like I did think it would be like good. Maybe not everyone like sees everything the same way as me, so there is like words, there's like a story, but I think I'm hoping at least that like the art itself and the pictures speak louder than the words for it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Thank
awesome.
you.
It's gonna be totally awesome. Do you? Is there anything else you want to like? Do you want to talk about? Like you mentioned Christine, and
Yeah.
do you want to talk about that, or we don't have to, or you can talk about anything
Yeah,
you want?
I don't know what I want to.
Because she's like, didn't she kind of help you out?
Yeah,
like,
she was like the first like person to kind of like recognize my parents were probably the first people, because that's how she found out about like my art and stuff. My dad, I think, posted something on Facebook, and she was planning on opening her business in Westfield and like her store. So she reached out to him, and she was like, would she want to sell art here? And so she was kind of like the first person that got all of this started. So she's the best. I love her.
Yeah. So Christine had it's Cherry Home Designs.
Yes.
And she had a store in Westfield. Now she's in
Scotch
Plains,
Plains.
right.
Yeah.
And she's super she's also a member of the Westfield Art Association, but more not as an artist, more as someone who supports artists and wants to. And she comes to our events. She's just the greatest person, I think.
She's been amazing like throughout all of like my art journey, and like she's been so supportive, has given me like so many opportunities. She's the best person ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
And is she along with your parents? Is she one of the ones who made you feel like an artist?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I feel like I mean, like I kind of feel like I also get really like when I paint, I'm like I'm a genius, like I'm amazing. So like I already kind of felt like that about myself in general, but she was definitely one of the first people like outside like my family to like recognize any of the stuff I did, and yeah, it was super helpful to like have her along everything.
Yeah, and to
Yeah.
give you support.
Yeah.
And we got to thank your parents, because I mean,
Yeah.
it's not every parent will. What's a good way of putting it? Will support.
Yeah.
Yeah, and encourage art and creativity, because a lot of times they say, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to make money?
I'm the one asking those questions, and they're the ones being like, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. I feel like the roles are like reversed as what they should be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I mean, you have such a passion.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just great to see that you're able to do that. And like a lot of people will push those passions away and just go make money or would pay the rent or whatever. So to be able to do that, like you're lucky. Both to have Christine and your parents.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. Yeah.
So is there anything else you wanted to share before I ask if anybody has any questions?
I don't think so. I think I covered it all.
Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
I didn't even look at my notes. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask Shen, or they want to ask about art or her process or the artist in residence program?
So I have a question about your personality. I think, to me, getting a sense of you is that you don't want to be constrained by rules. You want to do things your own way. You get out of my way, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And you probably had that as a very young girl, and it's been consistent throughout. Those type of personalities have trouble interacting with other people because it's beyond their comprehension, or they don't fit in. How is that? Is that reflected in your art? Number one, and number two, how difficult was it for you to get through that, and is that part of your creativity now?
I do think, I feel like you guys know, I definitely have always, since I was little, been that way. I feel like it's definitely reflected in not all of my art, like some of the animal stuff and tree stuff, it's like, it's an animal, it's a tree, but some of the more abstract or like that type of stuff, it definitely reflects. Not all, I don't feel like I have any of that represented here right now, but yeah, that's definitely reflected in my art. And
What about growing up with your peers?
I was definitely a weirdo. Like people definitely thought I was weird all the time, but I was.
We're all weird.
Yeah.
Everybody's weird in their own way,
but
so don't...
I was lucky enough to find friends that are just as weird as me. That it honestly it all worked out, and I'm glad that I was as weird as I was, because I wouldn't have found my weirdos to go along with me. So definitely I had my trouble with it, but at a certain point, I found my people, and it all worked out.
It's similar to a story. We had a son that's a musician, and he was at 3 years old. He felt that he was equal to every adult in the room. His personality was a little bit difficult, but as you mature into that, it's a real benefit in one way or another.
Yeah.
So you can see yourself growing into that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. When I was younger and in school, it kind of sucked. But now that I'm grown and away from that, I wouldn't have it any other way.
I also don't think you're weird. You were different, and you were.
I was special.
Talented.
Yeah.
It's not weird. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, having that confidence and believing that you're awesome, which is great. That goes into your art, and that's who you are. And don't ever push that down.
Yeah.
Be who you are.
Yeah.
No matter what anybody does.
Yeah.
So.
I won't.
Does anybody else have? Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
The use of your colors, because in some of them you're mixing dark and light, and then others it's like a Van Gogh.
Yeah.
It's so bright. Were those different time periods, or did that happen at the same time?
I feel like a lot of the ones that are have more brush strokes and are more bright and colorful, in every color in the rainbow is in them. That's more definitely different time period. I feel like I've evolved in my style. I don't want to say cause I feel like the way I think about it is I've kind of matured in a lot of my art, but then I'm do I want to say that? Because I feel like the other stuff was good too. So I don't want to knock that stuff. But yeah, I think it really is just a reflection of my personality over time maybe, and different things I'm experiencing, or different ideas and concepts I'm having. But yeah, I honestly, sometimes I feel like sometimes I'm also just saying random things because I don't think at all when I paint, and I just do it just happens. Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to ask you a question about something on that line. Have you ever had people looking at your art while you're there and then saying what they think of it?
Yeah, actually, I had like at Galleria, I had like one of my favorite pieces. It was like hanging. It was for like this concert thing, and it was hanging in the back, and people were looking at it, and I was talking to them about it. And they were like, yeah, it's like really dark and creepy. Like, I just like, you really tapped into something like some like creepy, dark energy. And I was shocked because that was like one of like, to me that was such like a beautiful piece, and it was like happy and like life and everything. And I was like, wait, okay. Like,
What'd you do?
oh, I was like, wait, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm glad you have that interpretation. Like, that's okay.
Yeah, but as an artist, you see the world differently
Yeah.
than most people.
Yeah, I never thought that someone would get that from that one, but you live and you learn, I guess.
Yeah, that's funny. You're gonna have plenty of that.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I think that's a good point. When artists, I believe this, that artists see the world differently, because I mean, I don't know if you've ever did. If you walk into a new house, first of all, you notice every color on the wall. You know what's hanging on the wall. If there's nothing hanging on the wall, you say, "Why is there nothing hanging on the wall?"
Right.
The other thing most artists do, I don't know if you do this. This may be telling too much. Like if there's a piece that's crooked, I go up and I straighten it. Even if I'm in somebody's house I've never met before, I just like have to fix it. And then I'm like, I ask them, where'd you get that?
Yeah.
But do you think artists see the world differently?
I definitely do. Like, when it comes to like crooked stuff, like I have things like in my bedroom wall that have been crooked for like years, and I just haven't bothered doing that and fixing it. But it's like even something for me is like color is a big thing. So like even something like shiny and silver, like something like reflect. I'm like trying to look if there's anything, but I don't see anything. But even like the water bottle, it's like there's all like it's clear, translucent, white, gray, whatever. But there's like a million, like every little
Colors
color around
everywhere.
the room is reflected in it. So
Yep.
I think it's almost like just being very mindful of like the details around you. And I think that also just I feel like that's kind of why art has been so good for me, because it's made me like almost more like peaceful and like more happy, more appreciative of things around me. Because when you're like paying attention to like the world around you that way, it kind of like brings you peace.
Yeah.
I didn't always used to be like that. So
That's great. That's
crazy.
great. Like this piece, the cups.
Yes.
Now, were you looking at that? Were you looking at cups when you painted that?
That was actually like when I was in school before I dropped out. It was a project.
It was a
project. So I had a picture of like teacups stacked, and a lot of it I did still just like the water and stuff. Like I kind of just did that myself, and it ended up turning out good. Which is usually I can't see it in my head, so I was surprised that worked out. But the teacups themselves, I did have a picture of before painting.
Yeah, because like there's a lot of colors in there.
Yeah.
Technically they were probably white, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, look, they're not white. But I agree, because I paint still lifes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see a white vase, but it's not
Yeah.
white. There's like every color.
Exactly.
Or what's in the room.
Or
is in
even
it,
even if it is like just like white and gray, it's like I'd always rather make it like white and lavender, like a light purple instead of a gray, just because like I don't know, I like color. Like,
Yeah.
make it more interesting. Yeah.
And the other thing artists will notice is like there's colors, like light is different colors. So like if you're outside, the light is got a blue tint, which is a cooler thing. So shadows will be warmer. They'll be more reddish, which we see, but it's hard to explain that, And then they'll end up in a painting. You'll say,
Yeah.
oh, why is that red or why is it purple underneath there?
Yeah, or I also like even like a lot of shadows, for this at least, like a shadow a lot of the time can have like a cooler tone and be like, I guess purplish, but like I like to like emphasize that a lot. Like I like to bring the colors like more vibrant in whatever I'm seeing.
And the other great thing too about that piece, like the highlights are very warm, and then the shadows are very cool, and so your mind, that works because that's how the world is. So when you're looking at, even if the colors aren't correct, but it works. So people are like, oh yeah, that's how it should be. So which is really cool. Anyway, is there anybody else have any questions? Any other questions they wanted to ask?
You have another one?
He's a plant.
I do sometimes listen to music, and sometimes I like to watch shows because it helps me focus, like background noise, like, and yeah. But the issue with that is then if when I'm done painting and I keep watching my show, I don't know what happened for the past like however many episodes because I'm mostly painting. But I also sometimes do just sit in silence and paint because I've realized actually I didn't do this for a while, but then the past like few months I've been just sitting in silence when I paint, and I'm like noticing like the stream of consciousness and of thoughts in my head, and it's very interesting to like hear like what if I'm painting something, like what random thoughts will come up based on like what colors, or if I'm painting something, and like the way I'll just be living a whole life in my head, and then I won't even notice what I'm doing, and it's just like.
Do you take notes when you should like write the
I know I
thoughts down. That would be so cool.
I should do that more, but I have not done that. I feel
would be
like
so
writing
cool,
because
yeah.
when I think so fast that my hand can't keep up, and then I'll read it back the next day, and I literally it's like illegible. Like I cannot understand it. So it's yeah, yeah. So that doesn't quite work out for me. Yeah.
Oh, Arlene in the
Yeah.
back.
Do you play music when you paint? Any
I
kind of
do
music?
sometimes, but
Okay.
sometimes the music like gets me like it trips me up because then I'll
Okay.
just like to me sometimes I think I get like with sound specifically I get like a little like overstimulated sometimes.
Okay.
So listening to music is kind of an activity in its own. So if I'm painting at the same time, depending on the type of music I'm listening to, I can't paint and I just have to like sing all the words like along with everything,
Oh, no.
and yeah.
Well, I had a teacher once, and he played classical music the
Mhm.
whole every class.
Yeah.
And in some ways, it was like it kind of did put you
Yeah.
in another mood.
I think if it's music that doesn't have words in it,
Right, no
that's
words.
like that'll
Yeah.
work for me. But
Right.
sometimes I just get completely distracted by words, and I feel like I just have to, especially if it's a
That's
song that like I really like.
You know, and you
And
like
I
it.
know it, and it's like I just
Yeah,
kind of like
right.
want to have my moment with the song. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else have any other
Yeah,
questions?
I gotta get into this.
Julius.
Mhm.
I gotta get into this. It's wonderful. Nice to meet you. Why I say that, it's like, you meet artists, and I have an opportunity to ask you, when do you find your creativity? Daytime or nighttime?
Nighttime, and that's why my sleep schedule's all messed up because most of the time I can't start painting until most of the people like in my house even like or outside my house are like quiet and asleep, because then it's like it feels like I can be with myself and really get into the zone. So during the day it's like I can paint, it's just not, it doesn't hit the same, but I'll usually start painting at like 11 p.m. and I will get in a trance and I'll stop around like 3 or 4, and then I'll fall asleep around like 5 or 6, and then I'll sleep in really late. And so I kind of have to, like, I love to paint at night, but it's not great for my sleep schedule to be doing that. 'Cause then if I have to wake up early one day, I'm all messed up. I'm on like 3 hours of sleep. Yeah.
I have another
Mhm.
pounding question. Have you started painting from your experiences?
Mhm.
Even though you're young, could you think back when you were a little girl, 15, 16, 18, 21? Are you painting from experiences?
I feel like I definitely painted from my experience. It's not, when I paint things, it's not like necessarily from experience. I mean, it is, but it's more so like from feeling, from emotion. So like, obviously like my experiences have influenced that. The paintings that like are like that a lot of the time, you can't like look at it and be like, oh, this is probably from like when she was this years old and this happened. It's very like, it's very just like emotion, and that's it, like, that's
So,
it.
so you're kind of like telling me is there's a future.
Mm-hmm.
There will be times.
Yeah.
You'll be painting more of your experiences.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's like that's kind of why I like painting too, and that's why it really like is my passion. Because even like at a certain point, like even now, it's like I've been painting like seriously from like 6-ish years, like consistently, I mean, and I'll look at like all like paintings from like when I was like 15 to like now, and it's like it's like a diary almost. It's like it tells a story of like me over time. So eventually that story is going to be even longer, and yeah, I think that's going to be really cool to see like the evolution.
I'll leave you with this thought.
Hmm.
We all have times we stop. I don't know when, maybe you'll
Mhm.
never stop. But if you should stop, try to remember these beautiful days when you're
Yeah.
an artist.
Yeah,
And go back to it,
yeah.
if that happens.
Yeah, I hope I don't stop. But there's definitely periods where it's like not as consistent, and I get stressed because I'm like, I need to get back into it. But it always comes back around, so it's good to know.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Just a quick question, do you prefer abstract to realism? Or,
I prefer I kind of like a mix where I like to have certain aspects of realism where I can like paint something that's more figurative and like something that like someone can look at and know what it is. But I definitely lean more abstract because I get bored if I'm just painting something I see and that's all I'm doing. Like, because I know I can do that. Sometimes I like to redo it just to prove that I can still do that. But I feel a lot more drawn to more abstract things, I think, yeah.
I should ask this earlier. Do you have any artists that you like look up to, or like you like their art? Like, do you look at other art? Like, do you
I
look at art?
definitely look at a lot of art. Like most of the time, like if I'm on my phone, like a lot of the time, most of like what I'm scrolling around is like art. But it's not like when it comes to like well-known artists, I'm not the most knowledgeable, which I like probably should get better at. But usually it's I don't have like specific names in my mind, but especially with like social media now, it's like you can see so many amazing artists, and like it's so easy to like see something and get inspired by it. And
Do you have an inspiration board, like where you take, either you hold pictures or your
I usually
albums
just,
or whatever?
like save things like on
Okay.
like, on Instagram or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of what I do.
Yeah, that's cool.
A lot of my
That's great.
social
Yeah.
media is that.
Yeah, because there's so much online.
Yeah, and it's
I was
like,
just,
and it's
yeah.
and it's kind of a problem because I'll want to get off my phone and then I'll scroll and it's like something amazing and I need to check out their whole page now. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it's a little bit addicting, but yeah.
Well, great. Does anybody else have any questions or comments or anything? All right. Well,
Yeah.
thanks so much for talking to all of us.
Thank you.
Best of luck.